What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Spotlight on rockstardreams.com. I'm your host, Keegan Pitts, also the editor-in-chief of Rockstar Dreams, where we are all about sharing rad backstories one band at a time and discovering emerging artists, as well as covering some major bands as they're on tour throughout the summer. So today, we have a true rock and roller on the line with us. We have Blackey Deathproof of New York's own Midnight Mob. Blackey, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
She's yeah, totally. She's so rock and roll. She is talking to us live from a bathroom at the recording studio. Blackey, how do your bandmates kick you out and then shove you into the bathroom to do the interview? What's up with that?
It was really our only option. It's our bass player's house, so it's like they're practicing downstairs, which is going to be one of our last rehearsals before we hit tour. Carly's parents are in the kitchen. Her room's under construction. Her grandma's on the other floor. So I'm in the bathroom, man.
Thanks for the sacrifice. Way to make it happen.
You know, where there's a will, there's a way.
There is a way, indeed. All right, Blackey, let's before we dive into kind of where are we now, we love kind of sharing the backstories, I guess, behind the scenes before the success here at Rockstar Dreams. Can you kind of give us a little insight on how Midnight Mob formed and kind of your progression thus far?
Well, it's definitely the story of the underdogs. We started 7 years ago. We've recently downsized, unfortunately, but in the beginning, 3/5 of us were never in a band before. Oh, actually, we never played our instruments, really. The only one that played really was our former drummer, and our guitar teacher our guitar player taught guitar lessons to me, which I was terrible at. And but that was pretty much the extent of the experience in the band. I never sang before. I was petrified of public anything. I was like one of those people that like threw up if I had to do anything in public. It was really scary.
Like seeing you in video now, like you would have no idea.
You know what? It's I like to encourage people with that. You never know what you're capable of until you kind of throw yourself into the abyss and try something new. And I mean, it's been 7 years of like very hard work and a lot of growth. And even with my voice, seeing how that went from one thing to something totally different. You never know what's really in you until you're kind of screaming into the abyss. And it was crazy. Like I had a boyfriend my last year, well, my first or second year of college, first year of college. I was terrible at school too, but he had a metal band and an acoustic project, and he heard me sing a little backing vocal, like not a backing vocal, he'd sing along to a Nancy Sinatra song, and he was like, "Oh my God, you have to sing do a little backing vocal for my project." And I was like, absolutely not. I will never do that. Eventually he's like, "Look, you just have to record it. It's just going to be in my room. Who cares?" I was like, all right, fine. It's like nothing. And then a couple months later, he's like, "Oh, you have to perform it with me." I'm like, "No, not doing that." He talks me into it eventually. And that one performance was where our old drummer happened to see me singing, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to do some backing vocals for this little project I'm starting?" I of course said no, because I wanted no part of that. But a couple weeks later, I got broken up with, and I was like, you know what? I have no friends in this town. Let's try new things.
That's awesome.
So I did, and once again, it was like singing in it was so creepy. He took me to this guy. It's like this washed up has-been / never was producer from like the 80s that was trying to just recreate something that wasn't happening. And we were just in some like creepy basement, like with all the leftover rejects of a yard sale, like cigarette ash everywhere. Just, there was like a bed sheet and it looked like a murder scene. It was really bad. But I'm like,
glad you survived and are here doing this interview, and music's working out well.
Yeah, but he gave me these songs to sing, and they were really bad. Like, it was, you know what? Thank God they were that bad, because you know, I probably wouldn't be here. But he had me singing the songs, and it was like kind of just like my speaking voice, blah blah blah, because that's all I really kind of ever knew. You don't, you know, if you've never sang before, I don't think you ever think to like, I'm gonna project, you know, or like do all this crazy stuff. But the songs weren't sounding right, so eventually I was like, hey, let me just try something. So I got brave and bored, and I plugged my ears and let it wail, and life's been weird ever since.
Well, sometimes blessings come in disguise. So first, I want to thank your ex-boyfriend for pushing you into music, and second, I want to thank him for breaking up. I think if it wasn't for all the ex-boyfriends and girlfriends in the world, there wouldn't be half the hit songs on the rock charts over the last 30 years. So thank you, exes, for your inspiration.
Yep, they're so necessary.
Well, very cool. And I think that's an important point too, that you took time, you found your voice, and you're like, hey, this is something I'm passionate about. This is something I really want to pursue. And for our audience out there that's watching this now, whether you're picking up that mic or guitar for the first time, or you've been on the road for 10 years, just stay after it. You know, I think, you know, you'll find inspiration, and, you know, you're hearing it here first from Blackey Deathproof of Midnight Mob, that it can happen. Obviously, you got to have great songs and talent at the core, but, you know, keep that drive and ambition alive. Yep. Cool. Now, fast forward to today, Blackey. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of good things happening for you and the band. You were discovered by Reverbnation Connect, which is the new kind of A&R curation platform within Reverbnation that's discovering basically the diamonds in the rough. And if, for those of you at home, if you're not on Reverbnation, there's over 4.5 million bands on there. So to say the least, you have to be really good to get recognized by one of the A&Rs and move through the process of those curators. So can you kind of walk us through what that process has been like and that experience thus far?
It's been really wonderful, actually. And I just really want to encourage other people in bands to really look through Reverbnation. There's so many amazing opportunities and outlets that I think, you know, just because the market is so oversaturated and people kind of feel like they're the needle in the haystack and like, maybe I shouldn't like go for this. But they, Reverbnation puts on these how we kind of got discovered was through, they have these conferences. There's a few a year, and I definitely highly recommend you know, applying to them. I mean, during the day, you sit with people from the industry. You know, if you want to learn how to record, you're like, just all the different aspects of like do-it-yourself music industry 101, marketing yourself. You do that during the day, and then you network and get A&R. You get different people that were running the panels to come to your shows at night. It's a great way to meet other bands for touring purposes. It's really wonderful, and there's so much talent out there, but it's really cool. It's like, it's kind of like a nice little, and you know, we're proof that it, you know, it does work, and we've gotten a lot of benefit from that, and we've seen a lot of other bands really do some cool things with it. But yeah, the last couple months have been really wonderful. We've recently started playing bigger shows with some national acts, which is, you know, super exciting after 7 years of, you know, like when we got into this, you know, we were just such uber noobs. We were kind of just grateful to be there, like no ego at all. It was so bad. But you know, we recently did Rock and Derby, which was incredible to share a stage with Trivium, Shinedown, Coheed and Cambria, bands that I kind of grew up listening to. And then we had like Megadeth on the other stage. You know, it was crazy. And then, you know, this is all pretty much through Reverbnation. They were able to get, you know, we were able to apply for these shows, these festivals through them. And we also got out a few booking agents, which got us onto Sturgis this year, which is crazy. We're going to be opening up for Three Doors Down and then closing out the night for Kid Rock, which is pretty nuts.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I definitely want to encourage all the bands out there to just look into all the things that Reverbnation and Connect have to offer.
Nice. Very cool. Reverbnation is also a proud partner of Rockstar Dreams. If you have an EPK already on there, feel free to submit. If you click on their publications list, check out Rockstar Dreams or submit to us directly on our website. We're always down to listen to some new tunes, and we'll certainly be in touch if we dig what we hear. So again, guys, check out reverbnation.com. We are on with lead vocalist Blackey Deathproof of the band Midnight Mob. Now, Blackey, you have a new EP out right now. Now, correct me if I get this right or wrong. Brutal, Honest, Glorious. Glorious is your new EP that's out now.
Honest, Brutal, Glorious.
Honest, Brutal, Glorious. There you go, guys. Make sure you check that out on iTunes, and it's also available on Spotify as well, if I'm not mistaken. I am going to actually give our audience a little taste of your vocal sampling here, Blackey, and play a clip off your new music video for Ghost. So, guys, take a listen to this. This is the new single Ghost off of Midnight Mob's latest EP.
I'll take the blame for both our pain when everything you love kills you slowly. There ain't no truth behind a lie, 'cause every secret paralyzed. Worn your tongue so long, it becomes you. Oh, my life.
There you go, guys. That is Blackey Deathproof, who we are on right now, and that is her singing on the new song, Ghosts. Blackey, I dig. You're like the vocal love child of Pat Benatar and Stevie Nicks.
Cool. Thanks.
Now, obviously, you've progressed over the last few years, and you mentioned, you know, started out, you weren't sure if this is something that you really wanted to dive into, but I mean, you have a very organic and natural voice. Your musicianship with your band sounds rad, you know, for not really getting on early and cohesive, you know, at a young age. You know, you guys are doing your thing and only good things to come. So can you kind of tell us a little bit more about this EP and what some of your old and new fans can expect?
Ooh, you'll definitely hear, you'll hear a lot of growth. It was about 2.5 years between when we put out the second and when we put out the third. And just we went through a lot of trials between the second and the third EP. I mean, we were always kind of like going uphill a little bit, you know. Like I said in the beginning, you know, I never sang before. Carly never played bass. Our other guitar player, you know, played to a practice amp, like nothing. So it was really just like learning to be in a band 101. But in trying to make the third album, EP, our drummer had left, who was our founding member. It had really just been the five of us for the first 5 years, like first band, you know, it felt like you were going through a divorce. You know, I got sober, so there was a lot going on with that. We were having a lot of money issues. Then we got into a really bad van accident. You know, we kind of didn't know if we were going to make it through all that. Like the songs that we were kind of dabbling with, you know, we were just not feeling like we're getting anywhere. Like we were just kind of all in just like this horrible state. And then I had some really awful, scary vocal problems, which I didn't know if I'd be able to sing again. And I had to go through vocal therapy, speech therapy. I had to get a shot in my throat.
Wow.
All these really crazy things. Like we were all just going through so much, and it was so amazing when we finally started to record. I was just starting to get a little bit better. And then we just got Chris, our drummer now, and he brought such a lovely energy to things. He you know, he's pretty wonderful. But it's just like we took on this whole new life, and the music, all the songs we really, like when we went to go record them, we were kind of expecting, like, you know, this was such a crappy chapter of our lives. We kind of just wanted to put the songs out there and be done with it, you know, and move on. And then once they were finally in, you know, when we started tracking the guitars and I started singing on them, I was like, oh my God, these are really awesome. I can't believe we did it, guys. This is great. Like it, you know, we had no expectations, and you know, you're gonna just hear a huge leap in musicianship from all of us, and the message is really positive. You know, it's all about pretty much the struggle and persevering. You know, whatever you have to give up and grow from, and it hurts. You know, but you know, you got to focus on what's bigger and kind of throw yourself into the abyss.
Yep.
Do it.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad you went for it, Blackey. There's a lot of good music out right now, and you know, bands like Guns N' Roses just headline Coachella and formed back together with the original three. There's some emerging artists like Wolf Alice and The Kills that put out some awesome records this year. Pierce the Veil just played Conan O'Brien last night. Do you think there's a little bit of a rock and roll revival going on right now?
I really do believe so. I'm noticing for the last couple of years, like even in pop music, you're hearing a lot more soul. You're hearing a lot more blues and a little like more country influences creeping in there. Which, you know, you combine all those, and those were the foundation of rock and roll. So, you know, I feel like it's warming people up for good rock music again. I feel like, you know, eventually people are gonna just need a little bit more blood in their veins.
I dig that. Well, I'm glad you're leading the charge here and are a part of that movement. Check out Midnight Mob, guys. Again, we're on with Blackey Deathproof. They are an emerging hard rock and roll band out in New York, New York. Be sure to catch them on tour this summer. You can catch them at Summerfest in Milwaukee in a couple weeks. They have some other dates listed on their Facebook page. Be sure to follow Blackey and her crew on Twitter at Midnight Mob 101, and check out that new EP. I think you dig the heavy guitars on there. Clearly Blackey's vocals. The drummer Beatz, who's got a kick-ass nickname as well. He can throw down. So sure, check these guys out. Blackey, thanks so much for being on with us here at the Spotlight on rockstardreams.com. See you soon.